Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to our new session with GDG Helwan. Today we are hosting Ahmed Elsawy from Andela, and we are going to have an interesting talk about HR and HR functionality and how to apply to international companies. And I hope you will enjoy this session as I will enjoy it. Hello, Ahmed. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Shadi, and good evening, all. Thank you so much for joining this live meeting, and thanks for giving me the opportunity, Google and Shadi, this evening just to take you through how HR works, how tech recruiters are doing the headhunting and finding the right talents at the right time. So let me start this session by introducing myself. My name is Ahmed Elsawy. I am an engineering recruiting manager at Andela. I have 6+ years of experience. I worked in 3 countries, India, Singapore, and Egypt. And my work portfolio had covered Europe, Middle East, North Africa, Africa in total, APAC, and US. Today, we are going to cover 3 topics. First, how to make your LinkedIn account attractive for recruiters. Second, how do recruiters think and how to nail an interview, how to crash an interview. Third, it will be like an open Q&A session. It will be moderated by Shadi, where I'm going to answer all your questions. So initially, let me start by LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is the most important recruiting platform for tech recruiters. For you, you may find it's really simple. So like if I show you like my LinkedIn profile now, you'll find some information like my name, tagline, the company I'm working for as of now, about, and if you just scroll down, different job titles, and if you scroll down, you may find recommendation. Then the most important part would be skills. So for you from front end, you may find it's really simple, but let me tell you why it's so important to keep your LinkedIn profile updated. So I'll show you from front end, from your side, and from back end, from recruiter side. So what happens usually for different employers, they have different job titles for the same job. So like if you are an experienced software engineer, specialized in Ruby on Rails for backend, so you might have the job title of backend engineer, software engineer, senior software engineer, maybe full stack if you have some knowledge about front-end technology. And maybe if you are working for a corporate like IBM, it might be like IT specialist. So as a recruiter, these job titles would be really hard and really misleading for me to find the right talent. So it's your job as of now, like you help me simplifying the information. So how does it work? Initially, like it's all about your about your bio here. You try to simplify it for me. Like you tell me like the minimum requirements for any job could be like seniority level, years of experience, programming language if you are a software engineer, and how many years of production experience and professional experience do you have, and if you have any outstanding achievements or accomplishments that will help me to know more about your profile. So giving an example of my own job title. So my own job title as of now is engineering recruiting manager. In whatever markets, in different markets, it could be like technical recruiting manager. And somehow it might be misleading because like engineering, who would know that I'm specialized in IT industry? Maybe some or few civil engineers, maybe electric engineer, electronic engineers will be looking, or telco engineers. So for me, I have just write it down about like, so I'm a talent acquisition leader, for example, with 6+ years of experience at American Information Technology. Between 2 brackets, I reiterated again IT. Then I mentioned that I worked for startups and multinational companies and global corporates. Then particular focus, information technology, software development companies. Then skilled in technical recruiting, employee engagement, project management, legal compliance. Then I mentioned about my education, MBA, LLB, and whatever locations I've worked on, whether it was on-site or offshore. So maybe for you, it may sound, okay, so why, Ahmed, are you repeating? Like, maybe your job title would speak about itself. I would show you from back end, how does it look for recruiters. But initially, it's really important for you just to keep your job title updated. So like engineering recruiting managers, between 2 brackets, I wrote technical recruiting manager. Then scroll down until you have your education, for example, the highest education. Then you have to make sure that you are adding your 80 skills are there. You can add up to 80 skills. So for me, it could be like HR, management, recruiting, analysis, policy, whatever, my technical requirements. And plus recommendation. This is what you see as a user. Usually for corporates and international or multinational corporates or startups, they buy licenses for recruiters to have something called LinkedIn RPS account. It's a little costly account. I think that after discount now, it would cost you $700 per month per recruiter. Why it's so pricey and so expensive? Because this is how we look for a job or look for a candidate, sorry. So as of now, like giving an example of my profile, like I'm looking forward to hire an engineering recruiting manager in Egypt or technical recruiters in Egypt. So I may write job titles that I'm targeting. So it could be like technical recruiting manager or engineering recruiting manager. I may write that whatever location I'm looking in. So I'm looking for ERM in Egypt or different locations. Then I can choose my own industry. So like I need someone who's specialized in IT, someone who's specialized in telecommunication industry, someone who's specialized in oil and gas. Then here's the trick. Recruiters, they write bullets, which means like we are looking for profiles that would have one or more of these keywords. So I'm looking for engineering recruiting manager who has 4+ years of experience, specialized in IT industry, but his profile should have IT, talent acquisition, or legal compliance, or technical recruiting, or international, or software. So it really depends on how strong is the HR or recruiter who will be able to assume what keywords a person who's working in this domain will be able to write in his profile. So the moment I apply all Boolean, so you can find that in Egypt, we are only having 4 ERMs in Egypt. So you can find my profile comes at the top because this is how LinkedIn would highlight it for recruiters. So it would be like engineering manager, they highlighted IT, HRBP, ITBP. Then once I found, okay, this guy, he may sound interesting. Once I open his profile, I will see whatever I'm looking for now. So I can see talent acquisition, I can see software, I can read the bio. So he mentioned about years of experience. So usually for any job requisition, my partner or my company, they have minimum requirements. So you need a manager who has at least 5 years of experience or 4 years of experience, who's having experience in software or IT or networking, etc. So once I scroll down, then in the skills, it will highlight whatever skills you are looking for, whether it's software or legal compliance or whatever skills or HR policies. So once I found some recommendations are there, so this guy, he might be interested or interesting person for me. So I just send him an outreach message. This is, I give you an example of my own profile. Maybe I can show you like a real case study. Like I had a requisition to hire for one of our partners, tech support engineer. So usually as Ahmed, I'm specialized, and my company are specialized in software development. So like we hire software engineers. However, for this partner, because it's a really important partner for us, they requested tech support engineer. So for me, it was a new search for me. So I don't know exactly what job title should I look for. I know the job specs. I know that they need from the skills someone who has Ruby and Rails from backend, or JavaScript, or .NET framework, or Git or GitHub, whatever. So once I started to apply Booleans. So Booleans for me, like for Ruby and Rails, some people write it as Ruby or Rails or Ruby and Rails or ROR. So I write all Booleans there. I select the years of experience. Then I start to look for profiles. So in whatever locations, like we are working in 6 locations now. So I found this guy, for example, Wilfred Giti. I think that he's residing in Kenya and he's working with EWS Capital. So once I open his own profile, based on whatever information and details that he has already filled in his LinkedIn account, I would know whether he would make a good choice or a good candidate or prospect for me or not. So once I am reading now, I have over 9 years of experience working on production. This is amazing. He has technical support engineer in his bio. Then he mentioned about JavaScript. It's one of our minimum requirements. Then once I scroll down, he has Git and he has GitHub. He speaks like he's fully proficient in English. okay, like he's meeting my minimum requirements. So what would be the next action for me? It would be I just send him an email. Sending an email, so like I have different templates that I have already created for this specific role. So I just send it to him, write down whatever information. I may ask some screening questions, like what programming language, what minimum requirements, it's about Ruby on Rails, blah, blah. Maybe once he reply back to me, I can ask him how many years of experience do you have using this language? What is your total years of experience in software development? Like this kind of screening questions will help me to find the right talent. Once he would receive this email, he will just reply back to me, hi Ahmed, thank you so much for your interest in my profile. Kindly find my attached resume. Else, maybe like if he's not willing to make a move now or to look for a new opportunity, he'll tell me, okay, my apologies, I'll not be able to make a move now. However, I can recommend someone else. This is how it works. So again, based on your profile, we said like we have headhunting. Headhunting process, it happens when we have an immediate requirement, like I have a partner who wants to hire someone in 1 month. So I don't have the luxury of time to make a job post on my career portal, then people would apply, then I do the screening. So this is why like whenever any recruiter reach out to you on LinkedIn, this is really serious. Like they want to hire you as per yesterday, not today. So whenever we have any post on LinkedIn, job post, this is how it looks like. I made a post view, I think on 8th of June about Ruby on Rails. So for Nigeria, based on whatever skills you updated in your LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn will do some data analysis for me to simplify my life. So for this job, like we have about 24 applicants. So I don't have, sometimes we may have 100 candidates, we have 200 candidates. So like it will be nearly impossible to go through all the job applications. So LinkedIn will just show me like view criteria match, the matchability by like for whatever requirements I'm looking for. So here, this guy, he doesn't have skills Ruby on Rails, team leadership, or Ruby. This guy, he has everything. So LinkedIn, based on whatever data he has filled in his LinkedIn account, LinkedIn is showing me who is making the best match for me. So once I find this guy, Shahid, I can just go through like his profile here. Then wow, he's amazing. So I can just send him a message and I can take it forward. And in fact, he got a message. So this is once we talk about LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, just to recap it again, LinkedIn makes sure that you are updating your skill set. If your job title is little misleading, try to simplify it for recruiters. So like if you are a software engineer, just write software engineer between 2 brackets, Ruby on Rails, 2 brackets, PHP, back-end, front-end. Make it simple, because still sometimes you may have a recruiter who's coming from non-technical background, who's working for oil and gas company. So he's hiring like oil and gas engineers. But as of now, they have an opportunity for software engineer. So it's your task to make it simple for him. So this is the first part in our sessions about LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it's widely used everywhere, but in some countries, such as like German-speaking countries, they use another website called Think for Think.com, and for Russian-speaking countries, they use vContact. And for software engineers, sometimes we go for GitHub or Stack Overflow as well. So this is about LinkedIn. Then, as soon as you receive the outreach message and everything is fine, we start the hiring process. And today, I'm going to let you know how to crash an HR interview. Some monkey tricks or tips and tricks will be there. Please take notes, and it will really help you to nail any interview for any global corporate, international corporate, or even local startup as well. So initially, and this is how it works everywhere. Okay. Initially, whenever you apply for any job, maybe you may have like a phone or email screening where a recruiter can drop you an email or call you asking you a few questions to make sure that at least you are meeting the minimum requirements for a job. So maybe like years of experience, maybe like if I'm looking forward to hire someone who's really proficient in specific language, I can tell you, okay, how do you rate your French language? How do you rate your German language, etc.? How do you rate your experience on a scale of 10 using Ruby on Rails, etc.? Maybe it can be done through an email. Then for big corporates, and they send an online test. Online test could be technical test, could be language skills assessment, could be IQ, numerical skills. It can just cover anything related to the role that you are applying to. And usually, like, you'll have about 48 hours to complete the test. So whenever you receive a test, you receive an email, feel free to ask the recruiter what kind of test am I going through, whether it be numerical, whether it be like timely. Usually it could be done via HackerRank, could be done via SHL, or different platforms. Once you complete it, welcome to the HR interview. HR interview, it may have different titles, could be exploratory call, could be HR interview, people interview, values alignment call, whatever. It's all the same with different titles. In this HR call, usually they assess your soft skills, technical abilities, and you make sure like you are culturally fit. So I'm going to take you through it. I let you know how recruiters think, so you'll be able to nail any interview. So initially, like, it should be introduction has to be there. Like today, I started with giving a brief introduction about me. This is what will happen in your interview. They would ask you, please introduce yourself. So once you are doing the introduction, make sure, as of now, like majority of interviews are done online now, remotely. So it's really important to make sure that you are well dressed to impress, keep your smile on, make sure that you have a good background for your interview. Don't attend your interview while putting your laptop on your lap or on your chest while laying on bed. It doesn't look professional, and it's not only about the look, it's more about how, like how will you be interactive, how can you maintain body language, how can you maintain eye-to-eye contact. It's still for online calls or online interviews. Try always to look to your laptop camera, keep your smile on. Then you start by introduction. So for introduction, you start with your personal information, like name, age, country of residence. Then you start with your work experience. You start from the most recent, then you go to, the least, then you start with your education. By the end of the call, you are smiling. Thank your interviewer. Thank you so much for inviting me for this call. And it's really nice meeting you. So it shows like you have self-confidence, you are a friendly person. And if you're having an interview with, like someone's coming from different culture, different background, who has different accent, try to give a consent. Okay, so thank you so much for inviting me for this interview, and please feel free to stop me at any point of time if you want me to repeat or to reiterate whatever I said, so we'll be on the same page. Moving to the second part, before the interview, there is a term called KYC, or Know Your Customer. Know Your Customer, you have to read a lot about the company you're applying to. So whenever I call you, hello, this is Ahmed from Andela. Okay, so can we schedule an interview? Before you join my interview, you are supposed to open our website to know what are our mission, vision, values, what is our business model, how many employees do we have. This information is really simple to find. You can find it in Wikipedia, on the corporate website, but still you have to get this information. If I'm telling you, okay, like we are hiring software engineer, so you can ask me, which team will I join? So like for Andela, we have technology team, we have partnership engineering. Same happens for all corporates, like we have different teams. Then what is the main objectives of the team or partner? Like you can ask these questions. Once you know the answer, you'll be able to nail the interview. Because simply you can get a question such as, why should we hire you? Why do you think that you are the best fit for this opportunity? So you'll be able just to state some facts. Usually interview questions, they should test core competencies and behavioral skills. And this part is really important. Some people, they think that HR, they are just asking some vague questions, okay, like just to waste time. No, like usually we are testing something. So if we are talking about the core competencies, could be leadership, teamwork, communication, adaptability, problem solving, decision making, delivering at pace, customer service. For behavior, could be excellence. Usually it's more related to your values. So excellence, passion, integrity, culture fit could be for some corporates, respect for individuals. So you have to know whatever values, what are the core values for your prospect employer. Usually we will not cover all of these topics in one interview. It really depends on your seniority level. So like if I'm going to hire someone who's going to be a manager or a lead or regional manager, so I may focus on leadership questions and decision making. Okay, so giving you some example of this question. So for leadership, I can tell you, how do you measure your own performance at work? What can you do to motivate a team? So based on his or her own answer, I'd be able to evaluate and assess whether this person would make a good leader or not. Then if I'm asking a question about the decision making, because if you are a leader, you should take decisions in tough time. So tell me about the decisions that you made so quickly and got wrong. What made you take that decision? So if my can tell me, no, it never happened before. So he doesn't have the experience, because sometimes we make mistakes, we are humans. So if I'm going to hire someone who's junior, like someone who's an individual contributor, so maybe I may focus on, maybe customer service. So I can tell you, please provide an example of when you delivered excellence to customer service. I can check on teamwork, because I could be working with a team. Can you tell me the time, or maybe when was the last time you worked as a part of a successful team? What did you do to contribute to it? How do you handle disagreements with your peers? So I would know if someone tell me, no, I cannot handle disagreements, they have to follow me, you are a dictator, like you may make it like a toxic workplace. So based on your answer, we would know whether you are culturally fit or not. Culture fit is really important. Like, don't try, like, this is my advice to people, like, don't lie if you find that this company is not culturally fit with you. Some people, they have restrictions, like, or preclusions. I don't want to work on banking industry. I don't want to work on a certain industry. So be honest from the beginning, because if I hire you, like, if you fake it until you join the corporate, or if I hire you and you are culturally non-fit for us, you are going to struggle in whatever company you're applying to. Integrity is really important for everyone. However, for some certain profiles, it's really important. Like if I'm hiring a financial manager, so like they will be dealing up with millions of dollars. So I need to make sure that you have high level of integrity. So some questions like, describe a situation when you showed integrity and professionalism. Can you tell me about a time where you knew that your work output would not meet expectations, and how did you do it? So based on their answer, I would know exactly whether they care about integrity or not. Then for passion, like usually for some partners, and they are one of them, we really care about those who are having a passion to change the world, those who have a passion to go above and beyond for their job. So maybe I can ask a question: what interests you about the position offered? Just to hear from you. Are you really eager to join us? Are you so passionate about your work, or are you just applying for a job? Culture fit for sure could be like, tell me about the time when you got unpleasant feedback from a supervisor or a partner. So for me, like in Andela, for example, and different corporates as well, like for whatever corporates I worked for, they care a lot about feedback, because this is how we evolve, this is how we improve. So like if you don't accept feedback, then you would never, like move forward in your career. So once I make sure that everything is fine here, so some interviews questions, it has something called situational interview questions. They use one of two methods. First method is called STAR, situation, task, action, and result, or PAR, problem, action, and result. This is something like, guys, like I want you just to take a note here. It's nearly impossible to find any interview at any corporate or startup, local, international, multinational corporates that doesn't have situational-based questions. It has different forms, but the answer should be the same. So STAR, usually it starts by or with, can you tell me about a time? Based on your previous work experience, can you tell me what happened? Like this kind of historical questions. For PAR could be like, if you are in this situation and you are facing this problem, what would you do to do it? I'll give you like some examples in some time. But as of now, just try to prepare yourself mentally. For STAR, like I can just make a situation now. Like, okay, Ahmed, can you tell me about a situation where you had to take the right decision to do X, Y, Z? So I can prepare a situation in my mind. Okay, I can give a real life situation now. One of our partners, they wanted to hire back-end engineers to join their team, and they should have leadership experience, but just in 3 weeks due to emergency. And as you know, that most of employees, they have to serve 1 month of notice period. So the situation, I have a partner who's looking forward to hire someone in 3 weeks only with unicorn skill set. And my task to find this person and to convince him to join in 3 weeks. So what action did I take? The action would be I ran an online research on companies that's doing like or going through a layoff as of now, and I found that company XYZ, they laid off back-end engineers. So I connected with 3 or 4 of them. They showed an interest to join immediately. So I did propose 2 profiles to our partner, and the result, my partner was looking forward to hire 1 person because like I provided 2 unicorn profiles. Our partner went for 2 candidates, and we became their key vendor, and they sent an appreciation email. So we had the situation, we had the task, we had the action, we had the result, and usually try to make it positive. Like maybe the situation is really tough, and my task was the toughest, but my action is really smart, and it led to a positive result. Par a situation. Like, Ahmed, what would you do if we have to lay off some employees in the next quarter? So this is the problem. So for me to be, I know I can identify the problem. The action for me, I have to prepare my team mentally that this is going to happen. Then maybe like if I have my own network, if I can find a way to stop it or to mitigate the whatever the harm will happen there. Then based on my network and training and so on, my guys, we can have plan B or contagious plan to join different company with getting like a higher rate as well. So this is how you prepare your mentality. So it's really advisable. I really advise you to prepare always 2 to 3 situational situations or work accomplishment in your mind before any interview. Because by 100%, you are going to have this question. It will be there. And even if it's not there, you can just fill it or stick it to any answer in your question. It shows how organized is your mental structure. So usually, general questions could be, tell me about a time. Tell me about a time where you think that you have done something differently in the past project. So if you are well prepared, you can just give them the time. If you need to buy time, and this is something like it's one monkey trick, you can repeat the question. Okay, so sir, you want me to tell you about a time where I thought that something would be better if it was done in a different way. So like I'm just reiterating the question to buy some time so I'd be able to think about an answer. Then try to avoid stuttering. Try to avoid maybe like if the question is really tough and it requires some thinking, you can ask your interviewer, oh, please, can you give me 1 minute to think about it? Okay, this is the situation. So moving to start can come in technical questions for software engineers. So can come this way. If all unit tests have to pass before the change can be merged, that won't work. How would you approach fixing a bug if the test don't catch it for you? So this question, initially you would think that he's thinking about he's asking about something hypothetical. Okay, so as of now, what would happen? No, try to keep it in par. So you have a problem now, you have to take an action, and it will lead to a result or potential result. So just keep your mind structured here. By the end of any interview, your recruiter will ask you, do you have any questions? It's really important to ask a question for 2 reasons. The first reason, it shows that you are eager to learn. It shows that you have self-confidence that you have nailed the interview. So you can ask some questions such as, what do you like most about working here? So as of now, you became the interviewer and your interviewer became the interviewee. Okay, what frameworks or tools or tech stacks does your company use? Can you describe the development process here? So you can ask 2 to 3 questions here. And again, as a candidate, you did invest your time to go for an interview. You are going to spend 1 hour. If it's on-site, you may drive. So usually, even if you don't get the job, make sure that you are learning something new. And this is something like, usually I tell it to my subordinates and my recruiters, like you are going to interview an expert in his or own domain. So after the interview, if you don't find that you have learned something new, then something went wrong. You can ask your questions. You can ask your interview. Don't make it personal, but try to learn something new. And I can recall, like, it happened to me. I can share this experience. Like, upon returning back from Singapore, I had an interview with a legal director at a very decent insurance company here in Egypt. And she was really nice. She was really respectful to that extent that 30 minutes after my interview, I knew that I was rejected because like I was coming with global experience and they wanted someone who needs to plug and play. And I needed some time to get groomed on whatever role I'm just going to perform, and they don't have the luxury of time. And she just gave it to me that direct. So what happened, like 30 minutes, and I knew that I'm not selected. But this interview, it remained for 1 hour and a half. So I was like, okay, as of now, I know that I'm not making the good fit now, but in the future, I'm looking forward to join your company. However, I'd like to know, like, how does legal compliance work here? Let's have some knowledge sharing. I'm just going to share my knowledge, the global knowledge, and you can share the local knowledge. So we'll have win-win situation. And this is what happened. 2 years later, after joining Andela, once we were just establishing our office here in Egypt, I was there with the legal team to decide on legal compliance. So it worked really well. So after any interview, make sure that you are learning something new. Just recap and summarize what did we go through now. So we went through your introduction. Make sure that you are presentable, dress to impress, keep your smile on, look to your camera, and make sure that you have a good background. Interview questions. It may test core competencies or behavior skills. Star and power methods. You have to prepare at least 2 to 3 situations in your mind before you join any interview. Then ask questions. That's it. So as of now, we can move to our Q&A session, and Shadi will be the moderator there.
Hello again, welcome. I hope that you enjoyed the slides and you learned and captured new info about LinkedIn that you didn't knew before, and how to prepare your account to be more professional and to attract the headhunting. Headhunting has been in Egypt for about the last 5 years and around the world for 15 years, I believe.
Yes, Shadi, like headhunting is the most important. Like if we don't have the luxury of time, we need to headhunt now. So this is something like I just want all candidates to understand that whenever any recruiter is approaching you, they don't have the luxury of time. So try to reply as soon as possible. Because this is how it goes. First to come is first to serve. So even if you're not interested, you can refer to your friends as well. Back to you, Shadi.
Okay, so you did have some time and you used of your own time to create your LinkedIn profile. So make it professional to attract the right headhunters, and they can help you find the new job without doing an effort by yourself. And as you've seen that if you did your profile very well and applied for a job, it will be easier for him to select you for the next interview. And now let's start the questions, and I hope you can join us and ask the questions that you would like to ask. You can join the question at Slido, and this is the ID for this session. It's 22/027. You can ask the question and we will answer it within the poll. So let's start by our first question. Please, Ahmed, tell us about your experience as engineering recruiting manager in international entities and how they differ from local companies.
Okay, this is an intelligent question. Thank you for whoever asked this question. So yes, like as an engineering recruiting manager, okay, I just want to make an assessment. Like title, it really doesn't matter. It's more about what are you doing. So as an engineering recruiting manager, I manage a distributed team across Africa. We help with hiring the right talent at the right time. As for Andela, we are providing engineering as a service. So for me as a manager, you are responsible for people's happiness. You are responsible for people's success. So as a manager, I have to hit my own numbers, and I have to help my organization with achieving its goals, while maintaining my team happy, motivated, and productive. So how it differs in international entities? Well, this question is really good, Shadi, because like for international global entities, you have a global policy, which is binding for all employees, and you have your local policy. So usually if you are working for an international corporate, this global policy, it has to ensure that you will be an equal employer. It has to ensure diversity and inclusion. So like usually like we have to try to avoid all kinds of bias that we have in our selection process. Unfortunately, like it may happen, or maybe it's there for some decent local companies, and for others, it's really hard. So like for global corporates, you have a hierarchy. So like if I treat you bad, you can escalate to my boss. If my boss doesn't respond, you can escalate to the boss of my boss. You have a board of directors. So like you have a structure, you have system. And usually for multinational and international companies, they invest a lot in training and learning and development for their employees. So it's a little different. Still, like you'll find yourself working with people who are coming from different backgrounds, different nationalities. Somehow, like it will enhance your skills, but still it's a little challenging because like you have to learn about the new or the new cultures, or other, how to ensure diversity, how to make sure that whatever you have speech, it's not offending for people. So it has its pros and cons, but I do believe that pros are far so higher than cons. So this is the first question, Shadi.
Yes, thank you. Let's move to the next question. What is the data that must be in the CV? And is the first thing that you look for in every new open CV? How long is the optimal CV? Would you read a 10-page CV? If someone wants to make sure that his CV is noticed and to be contacted, what to focus on formatting and creating a new CV? I believe the three questions are related, so can
This is okay. This is really a very nice question, and I really love that. So usually for CV, it really depends on your seniority level. Like if I'm going to hire a GM, so this GM would have 15 to 20 years of experience. So like if they just write a detailed resume for me, it may go up to 50 pages. It would be really hard to read. So what happens, like if you are like junior or mid-career or mid-level, you just make sure that your resume would cover what is the most important for a recruiter. So as what I mentioned before, like years of experience are really important. Your tech skills, like for me, I just want to know, like if I'm going to headhunt Shadi, like I know that Shadi, like you are an Android and Flutter developer. So like I want to see it in your resume. So I don't need to assume how many years of experience do you have using Android, how many years of experience do you have using Flutter. Just make it clear to me. Then again, once you are writing about your education, like you don't have to tell me, okay, in my engineering school, I studied 20 subjects and I can as below or as following. So like, okay, it's okay to have a bachelor degree in engineering. It's okay. So like, just try to highlight what is the most important: seniority level, technology, projects, professional experience, production experience, project complexity of your projects, and still like your language proficiency. And if you have any preclusions, you can write it there. So CV, I can tell you like for juniors and mid-career, it's better to make it detailed. And I can share with you, Shadi, like I can share the link for Europass CV template. I think this is the best template for me as a recruiter to read because like it's really detailed and it will help you to structure your mind. Yeah, it's called Europass.com. Okay. This template is already used by UN and some universities and so on. But for senior profiles, make it simple. Just tell me like I'm a GM at IBM from this time to this time. Okay, then you can just focus more on your qualities. You can focus more on your tech specs. So I think, okay, 10 pages. I would read it for 10 pages because I'd be desperate to hire someone, but you are making my life hard. So usually just try to make it easy, simplify it for me. If someone want to make, if someone want to make a CV notice, we contact what focus. Yeah, formatting, this is really important because like if I'm hiring software engineer, just focus on your projects, focus on your experience, focus on your tech skills. Again, like sometimes I may receive a resume, someone's telling me, I have 5 years of experience using Java for backend. I have 3 years of experience using Objective-C for Swift. I have 3 years of experience using React. So how would I expect? What job are you looking for? Are you looking for a mobile job? Are you looking for front end, for back end, or for the stack? So usually you can write it in your objective. Like this is for the application of software engineer, front end, back end, or mobile, etc. Okay, so Shadi, what is the next question, please?
Okay. To reach a position like yours, how a new graduate should study or work on his or herself?
Yeah, I like this question as well. So this is what I mentioned. Okay, like knowledge is power. So the most important thing, like once you start your career, that you should learn a lot. You should ask questions. You should get more responsibility. Believe me, it's really impossible to go to your boss or to your employer telling them, I want to do something more, and they tell you, no, you will not do something more. So usually, like if you are starting your career, try to get an internship, try to work on a volunteering work, try to join any company, try to learn. Just once you start, have some knowledge, you'll be able to move forward. Usually for HR career, like you should have like business administration or law background. However, it's not a blocker as of now. This is the future of work for most of jobs, even for software engineering. Like you don't have to be like strong Android engineer just to have like engineering background as of now. And Chad, you can correct me if I'm wrong now. So like if you have the knowledge, if you know how to do your job, you'll be able to do it. So for me, like I cannot tell you like what exactly you need to do, because maybe you can do better than I. So like I'm not on the top of my career now, so maybe like you can learn more, share experience, try to surround yourself with successful people, like try to be in a community. This is what I'm really happy about. Like most of people here, they are in GDG now, so we are in the community. You have someone like Shadi. Shadi is one of the rock stars Android and Flutter engineers, so you can learn from him. You have different people, you can ask them questions. Maybe like if you're not able to start your career now, but in the future, Shadi would just have a chit chat with someone or fireside chat with someone who's telling him, I'm looking for an intern, I'm looking for a trainee now. So Shadi will be able to correlate between, I know Amr's looking for an opportunity and I know this employer is looking for someone, I can match them together. So put yourself in the right community. It's really important. What's next, Shadi?
So it's connection, it's searching or seeking mentorship, and it's continual learning.
Continuous learning, yeah. Continuous learning, read a lot, and learn from your mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes, and learn from others' mistakes as well. Usually, like you may have good or bad bosses. Like in my career, I had tentatively 7 bosses. 2 of them, they were not that amazing. Okay, so I learned from them how to be a bad boss, and this is something I'm trying to avoid once I'm a manager now. So for any positive or negative experience, it can be a learning point for you. So as long as you are using your brain, you are learning. So like it's 80% performance and 20% luck. Yes, Shadi?
Okay. What is the professional social platform or job directory that a job searcher should create a profile on? You did mention LinkedIn, and you said that for Germany,
it's Xing, xing.com, Xing, or VK for Russian-speaking countries. But usually LinkedIn is the most important, and you have local websites as well. Like here in Egypt, we have Wozov.com, we have Byte. So like sometimes once we are really like cradling for a specific stack, like we did have some job posts Wozov before.
You did mention GitHub and Slack.
Overflow. Stack Overflow. Yeah, this is we use it like for GitHub and Stack Overflow and different tech platforms as well. But still, it comes as it doesn't come as our primary option or primary search. We do it once we are desperate. We couldn't find the right talent on LinkedIn. So second option would be GitHub. Maybe you do it just to verify information. So like as of now, I'm hiring Shadi. Shadi says that, okay, like he's working with Java for Android, he's working with Flutter, and so on. So I can just open your own GitHub account to see how many projects and what is the complexity of your project that you worked on using Flutter, for example. But LinkedIn is the most important.
Okay. Please, everyone, keep sending questions. I will try to answer all the questions. There are nothing called a bad question. Every question matter, and other colleagues and other listeners can benefit from it. You can either scan the QR code on the left, or just enter to the slide website, and this is the code for our questionnaires. So what are the stacks that is usually needed in Andela?
Okay, so usually usually like we are hiring for front end, back end, full stack, and mobile. So for mobile, it could be like Android, could be iOS. For back end, could be Java, could be PHP, Node.js, Ruby and Rails. And for front end, could be React, could be .NET. You have, like tentatively as of now, like we are covering most of stacks now. However, like some stacks are really in demand, on continuous demand. They are evergreen, such as Ruby and Rails. So Ruby and Rails now it's on hit.
That was the second question. What are the on-demand stacks that's hot now in Andela and in US? So,
Yeah, Ruby,
if anyone from this stack, can he just contact you after our call?
Right now, okay. So yeah, we can start like with Ruby and Rails, with Golang, and what else, Ahmed? Yeah, and Node.js and React Native.
So it's JavaScript frameworks, Node.js and React Native, and for the backend, it's Ruby and Rails and Python,
Golang. Python and Golang, yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes we have like seasonal like demand, and it's really expensive technology as well, called the Elixir as well.
Who can apply to Andela, and what are the hiring process? I believe that you discussed the hiring process. But
maybe I can reiterate. Yeah, I can explain both to you. So like who can apply? Like as of now for Andela, like we are looking for experienced software engineers who have 4+ years of professional experience, which means like paid experience, like you have been working with a partner, you are getting paid for your work. And again, like we are covering most of the stacks now, full stack or front end, back end, and mobile. So what are the hiring processes for Andela? Yes, it starts with a coding challenge. It's an online test. Then HR interview, it's called exploratory call. Then technical interview. Then DOPE interview, it's leadership interview. Then you may have like a PM interview and partner interview. So like our hiring process is kind of lengthy, but it ensures high quality and good candidate and partner experience as
well. Finally, about questions for Andela. Any advice to job seekers who are not qualified yet to join Andela, who is less than 4 years, for example, or his stack is not one of the required current stacks in Andela?
This is a brilliant question, because sometimes I know that majority of software engineers are really brilliant and smart, and they ask the smartest questions ever. So yes, so as of now, like you have to just make run an online research on what stacks are really on demand now, and what are the future stacks. Like if I want advice, I can tell you Golang. Golang, like it started to move now. Elixir. JavaScript, different JavaScript, frameworks. So as of now, like you can learn that. Keep yourself close to the community. So for, again, like as a software engineer, you have chosen a very hard career, which means that you have to keep on learning forever. So like for your technology, which is on demand now and highly paid, tomorrow it will become a legacy. So you have just to keep your learning agility rolling, and you have to make sure that you are always on top of demand. So I hope that I answered the question now. So my advice, keep yourself learning, surround yourself with successful people, keep yourself in the community. Just track, it's really important once you are doing an online research. Just make sure that you are checking Andela's career portal and different employers, just to know what technology is on demand now. And you can do your analysis, just open LinkedIn and see how many people they have this technology, how many people are learning. Because it's still, like job, it's like economy. It's really about demand and supply. So if we are having a high demand and low supply, your price will be more expensive. Your value will be higher. That's it. Yeah.
Cool. In our current harsh days, the COVID-19 and the economic problems, should a job seeker accept any job offered, or should they be selective?
This is a good and hard question, Shadi, as well. So usually, like in the uncertain time of COVID-19 now, many people have lost their jobs. Many employers, not because they are bad, maybe they are rock stars, but maybe because of funding, because of whatever drama living in now. So they had to move. So usually, for this question, like I would tell you, like you can give yourself a time frame. Like as of now, I'm giving myself 2 months to find a new job. So you can be selective initially. You can be selective in your first 2 months. If you find that it's going to stay beyond 2 months, so maybe you can compromise for a while. And again, it's not about the company, it's not about the job, it's about you are learning. Like you can spend this time to learn something new, to double stack yourself, to find a way to evolve. So I would tell you, give yourself timeline up to 2 months to be selective. If you don't find a job, you can compromise for a while and accept any job offer until you find a better opportunity. This is private sector, like no one will have a permanent job forever.
Okay, another question about CVs. Do you read all the CVs that reach your email or online applications on your career portal?
Yeah, for my email, definitely I have to read it. Okay, so like I go through whatever resumes come to my resume, and if I found, even if I don't have an opportunity for you as of now, and I found that you have a rockstar resume, I can share it with my team to keep it in mind. So sometimes, like I think, like a couple days ago, I received the rockstar CV of a Golang engineer. We don't have a demand now, but I did share it with my team. So like, keep it in your mind.
So
for
no
online
emails
application,
are left behind.
Yeah, no emails can be left behind. Like you have to check your inbox. But for online applications, yeah, sometimes it takes time. Like if now I don't have a demand for iOS and I have more than 500 online applications on my career portal, so I will not set it as a priority as of now. But as soon as I receive a demand, I just go directly to our database. And this is how we work. Like maybe I can share it with you guys now. Like whenever we have any demand, first we check internally if we have any engineer who can fulfill this opportunity. If we can't find, we check our database first, those who are already in hiring process. If we cannot find someone in hiring process, we move to external hiring, which is headhunting.
Okay, which is better for you to receive? A graphic designed CV or old-fashioned doc file?
Well, it's really about whatever data and information you have in your resume. So like if you are intelligent and creative enough to make it like more bubbly and graphic and colorful CV, but by the end of the day, I know how many years of professional experience you have in your stack and how many projects you have. It would be amazing. If you cannot do it that way, both are the same. Like as of now, like in the new era now of IT era, like really we are not just selective how this resume looks like. No, it will be more into like if you are good, you are going to get the job. That's it. Come at me.
Okay, but I believe some softwares or online systems would find it hard to extract the info from it if it is a graphic CV.
Okay, this is a very good question. It's more about the applicant tracking system, ATS. So like you have different applicant tracking systems such as Greenhouse, such as Taleo, SAP SuccessFactors, Bullhorn, you have different. So usually whenever you upload your resume, come what may, even if it's a classical resume, still you have to edit it and modify it manually. So this is why, like, whenever you upload your resume, make sure that everything is fine. Sometimes they can just capture your job title, then they just mess up with the dates, like your employment dates or whatever date. So yes, Shadi, like for me, both of them may like have a messy data. So it's really about like how you write it and how you simplify it for your recruiters and assessors. Because it's still like your resume, it will be used by your recruiter, will be used by your technical assessor, will be used by your leadership interviewer, will be used by your partner as well. So like if it's a messy, you are going to make the life really hard for 4 or 5 people as well.
Okay, next question. Did you ever tell a prospective that he or she is overqualified or rejected?
Look, for overqualified, somehow, Shadi, like if you are professional enough, like I will not approach a junior for a senior profile. So like somehow like mistakes would happen, but it would not be, we try just to minimize it. But rejected, yes, it happens a lot. So what happens, like if I find that my candidate is really, like a bubbly, he has a bubbly character, he accepts feedback. So I feel like it's a moral responsibility for me to tell you why did you fail in this interview, so you can evolve, so you can work on yourself, so you may get a better opportunity. I do believe, like I can recall on situations that happened, like one candidate like was applying for one of our opportunities, but unfortunately, like his language skills, it was below average. And still he had to work with an American partner. So I gave him the feedback. Like I told him, okay, like you have a rockstar resume. Usually you have to give like sandwich technique feedback, like you state whatever positive things that you have done in your interview. Then I can just let you know like what is your defect from my perspective. Like maybe it's the defect for Andela. Maybe like if you are going to work for a Gulf country or Saudi Arabian country or Egyptian company, sorry, it would be amazing. So again, like I'm telling you, like this is the defects that I found, and this is the solution that I have for you. Like maybe like I can ask someone from our internal learning and development team to share some materials with you that will help you to evolve. Maybe you can apply for some online courses at the British Council or the American University in Cairo, whatever, just to evolve. So what happened for this guy, like I did tell him like my feedback, but I did it in a nice way, in non-offensive way, and he's really open to receive feedback. Later on, 6 months later, we were in an event with American Chamber, I think 5 months ago. So like I found someone's coming to me, hi Ahmed, do you remember me? So I was like, I can't recall the name, but maybe like I can recall how you look. So he told me, okay, like you did reject me for this opportunity, and thank you so much for whatever material that you have shared. Now I'm working for an American company. I'm making X amount of money, which was really higher than our package as well. So I really felt really nice. Like I felt like I could help someone to succeed, and this is the best thing, the best feeling ever. Like maybe like, I'm not going to succeed. Like maybe like I didn't achieve my number as you, like for my personal interest at Andela, but however I could help you to excel. So feedback, it has to be there. If I don't, not only me, I'm talking about any recruiter. Like if a recruiter just send you a rejection email and you have context, you can just ask me. I know what is the reason for rejection. You don't have to defend yourself. Maybe this feedback, it might be helpful for you, and it might be nonsense. Like again, don't lose your self-confidence. Like maybe like this company is looking for some unicorn and you're not a unicorn, that is okay. But at least try to know your feedback. But still, I cannot tell it to everyone. Some candidates are really defensive. Okay, like from the beginning, like they are just holding guns. Okay, from the beginning, like they feel, especially for younger generation, Shadi, few of them, like I don't know, like they feel like the interview, it's like alpha male fights, which means like this recruiter is just trying to devalue me. No, like if I'm inviting you for an interview, it's win-win situation. I want to hire you and you want a job. As a recruiter, I have a target, I have numbers to achieve, I have MRR, monthly recurring revenue, to generate, I have quality to ensure. If I'm not able to do it, why my company would retain me? This is my job. So if for any recruiter, they want you to succeed. Like usually, like even we tell it at the job with my team members, like we pray for candidates more than their own families to be accepted. Okay, so that's it. Moving forward, Shadi.
Okay, moving to the next question. How would job seekers make sure that their accounts and profile are easy to be discovered and found? And here I'm talking about LinkedIn and other web online profiles. And how can they improve their search result rank?
Okay, this question is good. Like I think that we did cover it in our LinkedIn session. So just make sure that your profile is simple, easy to read. All information is there. Try to make sure that you're updating your contact details. Even if you are a girl, like you don't have to mention your mobile number, but at least you can have a professional email address so recruiters can reach out to you. Try to check your email on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So whenever you get an opportunity, again, like this is what I mentioned, first to come is first to be served. This is number one. Number two, just try to be active on social media. Social media is really important. Now, like social media is controlling everything now. So try to, like, if you know, like, if you want to start a career, for example, in Android, so check who are the HR recruiters for Android companies, who are the best engineers in the market. Add them to a LinkedIn profile. Try to connect with them. This is how you get nuts, because still, sometimes we go for headhunting, sometimes we go for cold applications, and the most important, it's referral. So which means that Shady, he knows some Ruby on Rails, or he knows some Flutter engineer, so he can tell me, okay, Ahmed, I have this profile. So for me, it's not about the way I'm getting the profile. For me, the most important and how to fulfill demand. So referral would definitely be my first choice as well. So it really depends on you. Just make it simple. Less is more. Yeah.
Less is more. This is perfect. Moving to the next question, how can a job seeker prepare themselves for the first interview and interview process? Do they to make any kind of research or effort before the interview? I believe you mentioned something like that.
Yeah, I mentioned, but maybe you can recap it again. So
Okay.
as of now, like you have to read a lot about your company. You don't have to make like a full detailed research, but at least you can check, Wikipedia, you can check Glassdoor. Still, it's really important. Like you have LinkedIn now, you can reach out to any engineer, to reach out to any HR, asking them about their opinion about their company. So maybe like even like if it has a hard work environment, they will not tell it to you directly. No, it's a horrible company. But from their voice tone, from their message, you may get some vibes about how it works. Yeah, Shadi?
Moving to the next question, can you tell us about Andela for those who never heard about Andela?
Okay, yes. So Andela is an American IT company specialized in software development. We are providing engineering as a service. So our mission is just to enhance the tech ecosystem in Africa. It's backed up by Chan Zuckerberg and different investors. As of now, we have 1,500 plus employees, and we are operating in 6 countries in Africa and US. We joined the Egyptian market back to 2019, and Andela was founded back to year 2014.
Cool. What is Andela business model?
Providing
Corporate
engineering.
culture and market niche.
This is good one. Okay, so business model, providing engineering as a service. So like we are different from outsourcing company because like we don't work on short-term assignments. Usually we have partners who are looking forward to hire the best tech talents across the globe, and especially from Africa. Our mission, or not mission, sorry, like our motto, it's brilliance is evenly distributed while opportunities are not, which means that you can find the best developers everywhere while opportunities can be in specific countries. So Andela's trying to enhance the life of borderless engineers remote work. Corporate culture, we call it epic culture. So like if you are an Andelan, make sure that you have epic values. Excellence, we are seeking excellence, like our work should be delivered with the highest quality to our partners. Passion, we are passionate about your work, about helping others, about contributing to your society, about enhancing the tech ecosystem. And I for integrity, like integrity for us, it's a deal breaker. We should be honest. We should just keep our word and make sure that whatever promise we are making, we are doing. And for C, it's collaboration. So we are working as a team. So like we don't have, and maybe Shadi and Andela can tell you, like we don't have this kind of competition. I will not feel jealous of my team members. We all are together. We all are going to succeed. So we ensure our success. So like if I feel like someone of my colleagues, they are not on the right track, I will just go there to support them, to tell them, give them some advices. So by the end of the day, we usually call ourselves a squad, successful squad, engineering coaching squad, partner engineering partnership. So whoever is working in this squad, they are successful. The niche skill is really important because we are so different from different remote companies. We are hiring from 6 countries in Africa. So whoever is getting hired by Andela will be working in a distributed team and supporting one or more partners in US or Canada or Europe. We do provide corporate benefits, and we work on the long-term engagements, which means that for any engagement, it can last up to 2 years. And again, like our work culture, I think that it's the best thing in our brand now.
Okay, what is Andela brand or motto? Intelligence is
brilliance is evenly distributed.
Brilliance is evenly distributed. Okay, great. Okay, any current openings? I believe you answered that question.
You can check our career portal, Andela Careers, will have it.
Okay, Ruby and Rails, Python, Node.js, Go, Golang.
Golang, yeah. And again, like maybe tomorrow when there's a new demand for iOS, maybe you can like we are really like connected to the market response in US and different countries. So it's really dynamic, Shadi.
Very, very good. Very nice to hear. How was work atmosphere affected with the COVID-19 in general?
Yeah, we stress more on excellence now. We need to retain our partners. We need to make sure, like as of now, COVID-19, like we know that our partners are struggling. Like COVID-19 is hitting everyone. So for Andela, we are trying to facilitate their work. We are trying to make them feel like they are leaning and counting on the right people. So as of now, we care more about excellence now.
Okay, do you believe Andela business model and work from home is going to stay? Or is it a temporary situation and it is not the best model for developers?
Okay, for me, okay, like I'm trying not to be diplomatic here. So like, as you can see, like Andela started our remote work back to 2014 and it's still successfully working till now. After COVID-19, the entire university moved to remote work. So this is the future of work. So as of now, like you don't have to waste your time to drive to your office. You don't have to waste your time. And again, like if you're working from home, you are more productive because you don't have coffee breaks. You don't have side chats with your colleagues. So for me, I would advise like for junior developers, no, you can start like office-based job. So you'll be able to learn, you'll be able to interact, to keep yourself surrounded by people, to learn more. But once you are senior, like your time equals money. So it means that work from home, deliver excellence, fulfill demand, and fulfill the needs of your partner as well.
Perfect. We heard the word culture fit. What does it mean and how can it affect on the hiring decision?
Yeah, I think I covered it, but I can recap it again. So culture fit, like I should hire someone who really enjoy working in my company. So he has the same, like similar culture. Like he will not or she will not feel that they are struggling. Like for example, if someone who really like doesn't like to work with non-Egyptians and he join a corporate where everyone would be working there with his own team, they're just coming from different countries in Africa and US. So you'll be not that comfortable working here. So for me, I just need someone who really enjoy diversity and inclusion, who really enjoy working with someone who's coming from different cultures, who will be really happy to work on different time zone. And you know, Shadi, like you're supporting someone in USA, so maybe like you can start working at evening working hours. So company culture, like you still need to adjust your time. Maybe it's still like and then they are really friendly and we don't use just titles, like no one will be called engineer or doctor or mister, like we're just calling people by name. So like if someone would really feel offended if you just call me by name without a title, so like you'll not be cultural fit. So cultural fit just to find the right person to work in the right work environment. And it's not only about Andela, it's about most of corporates. Like maybe like I'm sitting by 100% as Andela. If I join a different company, they may find me not a cultural fit, like we are over friendly.
Okay, let's pass that question for now and leave it to the end and see other questions.
Do you as a recruiter prefer?
Do you, as a recruiter, prefers a software developer who shows off and speaks off?
Definitely. Look, self-confidence, it's really important. But there is a slight difference between being a self-confident person and arrogant person. So you as a smart person, you have to maintain this balance. Like I should be so proud of my work, but I will not show it like I'm the best person in the world and all people are failing. So I can just stress on my good work because you invest the time. You are really, like spending effort to learn and to grow in your career, and you're traveling, you're compromising on different kind of pleasure in your life just to be the best developer. So you can just highlight it. So again, I will not call it show off. I will call it like having self-confidence or proud. So if you are proud, definitely this is the kind of character I want to have. And you have to speak of, but still don't devalue people. This is really important.
Okay, so know yourself,
What?
know your value, but be moderate.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are today's standards of?
Mahmoud Hussein is asking another question. What are today's standard of a good, fresh graduate job seekers in software development? This is a general question.
Yeah, this is a general question, so I can tell you, like someone who's really fast learner, who's really looking forward to learn new stuff, who's a friendly, who's approachable. So maybe this is my advice to fresh graduates. Like if you're a fresher now, as of now, like learning and education, it's really easy nowadays. It's unlike our days, Shadi. So as of now, like you can find online courses for free with Coursera, with Udemy. You can join ITI. ITI now they are working online as well. So get chances to do such things. Again, like for good fresh graduate, try to participate in volunteering work. Try to work on one project, even internship, even if it's unpaid. So as of now, like for freshers, uh, you should not look for just to earn big amount of money or big package. It's more about learning. It's like investments. Like you are planting the seed. If you are planting now, don't expect that you'll have fruits tomorrow. But maybe after 2 to 3 years, you'll be really fruitful. So good or fresh grad, someone who's able to learn, to contribute, and try to have a public character, to be friendly and to be in the community.
That does remind me, as IT recruitment, do you look into the engineer profile on GitHub or only LinkedIn?
GitHub. Look, we start by LinkedIn,
Okay.
but if you are a prospect, I go for GitHub. Definitely.
And
But LinkedIn is the most important.
Does it affect your selection and your reasoning?
Yeah, because like if I'm looking for a specific technology, so Shadi is mentioning that he's having Flutter, Android, Java, Objective-C, etc. And I'm looking forward to hire a Flutter engineer. So from your LinkedIn profile, I don't know like what is your contribution in Flutter. So I would open GitHub to see like how many projects you contributed in and what is the complexity. So if I find that you only worked on one project, but it's really giant project and it took time, it would be better for me than 10 small projects. So this is the kind of assessment that we are doing.
Okay, so I believe fresh graduate can work on GitHub account and open source project as well as their LinkedIn accounts.
This is really important. If you ever work on any project, mention it in your LinkedIn account, mention it in your resume. Again, like if I'm looking forward to hire a fresher, I'm an employer, I'm looking forward to hire a fresher, and someone who has worked as a volunteer or participated or even personal project, and he's adding it to LinkedIn, and someone who doesn't have any experience applying. Put yourself on my shoes. Which one should I choose, Shadi? Is someone who at least tried to learn, who tried to enroll himself in a course. That's it.
Okay. How do I make my link? This is the question is from Amr Fuad. How do I make my LinkedIn account look good to land my first IT job? I don't have any IT experience, but I am a self-taught programmer, for example.
Yeah, this is amazing. So like maybe you can mention it like in your bio that you are looking for to start your career in software development. And you're just writing, like bio, again, like it should not be a long essay. It can be like 2 to 3 or 4 lines. Then you can mention like, as of now, I'm looking forward to start my career in software development. However, I did enroll myself in different courses, could be in Python and Coursera, blah, 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 blah. And I did participate in one project with different people. It was maybe like production experience that you are not paid for it. However, I learned it a lot and I'm looking forward to continue working there. Again, using LinkedIn, you can just join different groups again on Facebook as well. Like for you as a fresher, I advise you join like here in Egypt, we have some groups called like IT jobs in Egypt, whatever community, if you're learning Python, so Python community in Egypt, then just pause there. Like as of now, I completed one course in Python and I am ready to dedicate time to work for free with you on any project. So if you are looking for any intern, please let me know. Just keep posting such posts on a regular basis. Someone will be like maybe working on a very small project and you just cannot afford to pay to a Python developer to work. He may approach you to work. Maybe you'll be working for free for 3 months, 6 months, etc. But you are not getting paid money. You are getting paid by experience. So like it will enhance your resume. Again, what if this project starts to boom? So you participated, you contributed in this project. Imagine those who contributed to Uber application once Uber is just an idea. Imagine it. They can write in the resume. I'm one of the first developers for Uber application. So try to keep it there. Okay. Hope that I did clear your question on.
Mikhail Samir, yeah, is asking, does career break is very bad and hard career progress overall? it should be told in interview or not mentioned is better. That means if he's taking a break, a gap lapse between his jobs, should he mention it in his CV or not, and does it affect his progress and his career or not?
Yeah, well, Michael, this really differs from a recruiter to another, from a company to another. But I highly recommend not to lie in your resume, because it's still like if you have a career break. So again, like for any recruiter, I know like you worked for Andela from February 17 to March 18. Then you started to work for Vodafone starting from June 2020. So as a recruiter, I know that there's a gap here. So the only way to hide it, just to lie. Like I've been working in a fake company for some time. So most of companies, they have background check, which means that whenever you join the company, they double check on your previous employment. So make sure like you don't lie in your resume. However, during your career gap, we all need career gap. Sometimes we need career break. Like after some time, like I'd feel it like after my employment with Andela, for example, after some time, if I feel like I want to take a break, I may take a break for 1 year. So I may mention it in my LinkedIn account if I am like experienced enough. Else, I can just work slowly on the back burner, which means that I can be a freelancer for 1 year, but instead of working at a full time, I can just work on one requisition per month. So it means that I'm working, I'm not lying, but still I'm enjoying my break without being detached from, like my work experience as well, from the market itself. So yes, Michael, it should be told in your interview, but again, it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. Which means that you took a career break. So I can tell you, okay, I took a career break because I really needed that. Or maybe I can tell you, yes, after working really hard for some time and due to some personal circumstances, I felt that I really need a career break. So I'll be able to be super productive again. So after this career break, as of now, I'm joining this interview. And I know that if I join your corporate, I'll be able to be a top performer in no time. So again, you mentioned about it. You didn't lie, but you gave a reason why you are doing it. Super Shadi, thank you.
Okay. Is Andela hiring just seniors software engineers or fresh graduate software engineers or have also opportunities?
In Egypt and majority of our locations, it's senior software engineers. We don't call them senior software engineers, we can call it experienced software engineers. And except in Rwanda, where you can have our fellowship program. So we have Susie.
Susie, is it a good idea to quote a higher pay package than I would be willing to accept in anticipation of a negotiation?
I love this question. Okay, so usually in any interview, a recruiter will ask you what is your current package and expected package. This is something I think that I asked Shadi the same. Okay, so for this one, like we ask this question to make sure that you are just thinking within our budget, because different corporates, they pay different amount. Like you can have for the same position, you can find a company who's willing to pay £10,000 for a position, and a company is willing to pay £80,000 for the same position. So if Shadi is coming from the company that's paying £80,000 per month, again, like the moment I tell him, okay, I'm offering you £10,000, he'll just tell me, screw you, stay away from me. So as of now, like once you ask this question, it's your total right not to disclose your current payment. Like if you ask me about my package now, I can tell you, sorry, it's confidential, I cannot mention it. So what is your expected package? You can tell them, Susie, like a range, like salary range. So for example, like you may accept starting from 80,000 rupees, because I know Susie, she's residing in India. So you can start with 80,000 rupees, like this is the minimum you can move. So I can tell you, okay, for me, I have salary range between 80,000 rupees to 1.5 lakh. So it really depends on your corporate offer, and it really depends. And again, just try to butter your recruiter for a while. I know that you are a decent company and you are not going to devalue me, and you have a salary structure. So I'm pretty sure that you are going to offer me beyond my expectations as well.
Yeah, good question. Good and a perfect answer. Remember
Don't use it against me.
Remember it by heart, Susie. I Ashraf is asking, how can I know more about the culture? I believe we answered
Yeah.
this question. Or the
I
culture
can
of the
recap
company
it. I can recap
that
it.
I applied for.
I can recap this question because it's really important
Yep.
question, Aya. Okay, Aya. Company culture, you can get vibes from their engineers. Like usually as a recruiter, I will not definitely connect with you. Hi, Aya, we have horrible work culture, but we are paying well. It will never happen because it's my job just to get you hired. But still, you can connect informally with someone like Shady who's working in my company, someone like Randa or like Ola or whoever is working for Andela. Still, you can just Google this company. Check Glassdoor. Glassdoor, it might have some misleading information, but if you find that you have like 20 candidates or 20 employees now, current employees, who are stressing on one point, like it's an aggressive work culture. So it may give you some vibes. Still try to attend or to join any event. Most of corporates, they have events. So in this event, you'll have the opportunity to meet people. Just go to speak to your recruiter, speak to someone who's working there. So company culture, I think like it's not that easy to know about the company culture. However, because as of now, because of social media, it's very easy to get some vibes. And again, try to connect with people to know like how does it work.
Okay. Is there some sites like Glassdoor? Can someone know from it or try to understand from it how the company culture is going and what other employees or current employees are talking about this company?
Look, I'll tell you, okay, like I have one point of view here. It's my point of view, like it might be
Yes, I
right
would
or
like
wrong.
to.
Okay. So usually like if you're leaving a company, even if you're leaving in a bad way, it could be like getting laid off or whatever. Still for professional people, again, they can't criticize the decision. But they are not going to just badmouth something that it's not there. Like if I talk about my previous employers, I can tell you, okay, some bureaucracy was there, so but still work environment was amazing. My colleagues were amazing. So I will not go to badmouth people, except if it was a toxic workplace. Maybe again, like experience, it's really different from a person to another. It really depends on your team. It really depends on your boss. It really depends on your partner. So maybe Shadi would find Andela at a very aggressive work environment, while I find it's the most chilling environment ever. So still get feedback from employees and ask more than one person to see how it works. And again, like your mental health matters. Like for me, corporate culture, it's more important than payment itself. Because like if you are mentally stable, you'll be able to learn more, to grow, to be happy. That will help you to get a better package in your next step as well.
Okay, now I is asking
Right?
about Andela work environment and culture.
Yeah, we did answer this question, so we can move to Saeed. I
Okay,
am
Said, I
experienced.
am experienced in business development, especially for IT companies. Would you have some direction to land the international opportunities?
Yeah, this is as of now international experience or opportunity side. It will just come from remote companies now. So you can just start to Google it now, like Google it, the top 10 remote companies or top 10 business development opportunities at remote companies. So many employers, like I cannot mention their names, but they do hire experienced business developers from different locations. But you can find it on Google now site.
Okay, what are the domains Andela working right now? What are products Andela developed and maintained? What is the scale of these products? This question is by Mikhail.
Okay, so it's Michael or Mikhail Samuel. Okay, so Michael, like we don't have our own product. We do help our partners to develop their own products. So what happens, like for Andelan engineer, you'll be working with a partner, for example, like GitHub, for example. So GitHub or PayPal or MasterCard, whatever, they have their own product. So our engineers, they become embedded engineers with their team. They get embedded with their own team. So you will be working as a GitHubber. You'll be working as, like PayPal engineer. So you will work on our partners platform. Yes, if you are on bench here in Andela, you will be just working on our internal products, but it's still working like internally for us. Like we don't have a commercial product now. And maybe like Shed, because like he's an engineer, he can just shed more light here.
So Andela is not a production house. Andela is a service
engineering as a service.
engineering as a service house. Okay. Now I is asking again: is Andela has Flutter in its technology stack?
Yeah, this is a good point. So as of now, like we are like we didn't have it previously, but as of now, like for whatever demand we are receiving now for software development, we are working on it. So previously we didn't have the .NET, and as of now we have .NET opening. Previously we didn't have Golang, and we are working on Golang now. So definitely, if we receive a demand, we are so connected to our market response and demand coming from our different locations. So if we receive any demand for Flutter, definitely we are working on it.
So follow Andela website and Ahmed account on LinkedIn and follow up the jobs that is posted from Andela. Any last advice that you can think we didn't touch or covered on today's talk, but you think that it is vital for the listeners to learn?
Advice: always keep your brain and heart in action. Care and share. Try to contribute. Like after some time from now, maybe 6 years from now, we'll have experience. Try to help people to evolve. This is how we impact our society and our content as well positively. Try to keep yourself always learning. Keep learning, because like as of now, this is what I mentioned. Like maybe you are on demand now. Like as a technical recruiter, if you can see like as an ERM, we are 4 in Egypt now. But in no time, maybe new technology will come there, and if I don't keep myself up to date, I'd be left behind. So keep on learning. This is the last advice. Then does remote work is effective in Andela? Definitely, Michael. So like remote work, like this business model, it works really well even before COVID-19. It's working. So yes, it's super effective. So for Muhammad Helmi, if I am rejected from Andela, yes, Muhammad, you can reapply again. So usually, like we have cooling period of 3 months. However, yes, you can reapply again.
Is there any period between the first and the second application, or he can just reapply?
If you are applying to the same opportunity, to the same stack, so it's a cooling period of 3 months, Shadi. And the logic behind having 3 months of cooling period, like we are giving some time to evolve. Like if you couldn't make it throughout the technical interview because you had some lack of, some tech specs. So in 3 months you can evolve, you can work on it and become a rock star again. But still, definitely you can reapply to Andela again. Any other questions?
No, we are done and done by 1 hour and a half as we promised. I would like to thank you, Ahmed, for this very helpful and very useful information that you provided about LinkedIn and how you as a recruiter can see LinkedIn from inside, the part that we don't see it as applicants. And this helpful and this thoughtful sessions and for answering all the questions from our community. So I would like to thank you, Ahmed, and I hope you can join Ahmed and ask him any question directly through his LinkedIn account or through his email. And I believe he will be transparent and will answer all the questions that will receive his email. Thank you, Ahmed, and it was a very enjoyable event, and hope to see you again, you and all our viewers for today's session.
Thank you so much, Shadi and participants. It was really my absolute pleasure, privilege, and honor being here today. And I'm looking forward. Please keep in touch. You can share your feedback with me. This is my personal email. You can add me to LinkedIn account. And I'm looking forward to have more fruitful sessions with Google very soon. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a nice day. Stay home and stay safe.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.